Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it. Hey, you guys, it's Michelle here. You're listening to the Calm Mom Podcast. So grateful to be with you today. Thanks for being here. I'm super stoked because this has been such a special week. We just kicked off the January cohort of the Burnout Recovery Blueprint. It completely sold out. We're at capacity. And man, just let me tell you, it's been so incredible to see all of these amazing women from all over the world come together inside this program and commit to their growth, commit to their healing, start to get to know each other. And one of the first things that we do together in our welcome party, which is our first call together, our first live call together, I usually go over like the nuts and bolts and make sure everyone knows where everything is and answer any questions and, just put some pieces in place so everyone's moving forward in strength. And one of the things that we did together in this welcome party call was that we went over these 4 pledges that I wrote, the 4 pledges for nervous system regulation, the 4 pledges to heal from burnout. And really what they are is they're 4 reminders, 4 affirmations, 4 ways of being that I really want the women inside of the Burnout Recovery Blueprint to continuously remind themselves to hold close, right? To lean into over the next 3 months together inside the Burnout Recovery Blueprint because they're so important to our healing. And guys, these 4 pledges, I was like looking through them like yesterday. And I'm like, they're just too good not to share. So I kind of, called an audible and changed the podcast publishing schedule. And I was talking to my team. I'm like, let's put out this episode tomorrow of these 4 pledges because they really are non-negotiables if we want to heal anxiety, if we want to heal from burnout, if we want a resilient and regulated nervous system. Now, here's the thing. These pledges aren't just like nice affirmations or feel good statements, right? Like I'm not the biggest like affirmation fan just for the sake of, saying these like repetitive blah things to ourselves. But I am a big fan of interrupting old patterns that led to burnout and anxiety and dysregulation in the first place. And that's exactly, I think, what these pledges are designed to do. So these 4 commitments really are reminders that we all need probably multiple times a day because they're reminders that run counter to the hustle and the overachieving and the perfectionism that most of us have been swimming in for way too long, right? These are pledges about showing up for ourselves differently, more intentionally, more gently, I think with a deeper sense of self-compassion. So whether you're joining us in the January cohort of BRB or not, these pledges are for you. They're for anyone who's ready to create real, lasting change. So let's dive in. I hope you're going to walk away with some powerful insights. I would encourage you to like jot these down on a Post-it note or turn them into like a screensaver or something fun. Put them on your fridge, put them on your mirror because they're so important. And maybe even, a pledge or 2 of your own to carry forward. But before we dive into today's episode, I would just love to take a moment. If you enjoy the Calm Mom podcast, if you have been listening for a while, if you have taken what you've learned on this show and put it into practice and it's made any sort of difference in your life, if you could take just a few seconds today and leave the Calm Mom podcast a 5-star rating and a short review, I literally could not thank you more. I would just be so grateful. One, because I love to hear from you. I always say that your feedback is so important to me. But really, second, it's because it helps to further our mission of getting these tools out in front of other women like you, other moms who are feeling how you're feeling and don't have access to these resources, don't know about this yet, don't understand the power of regulating their nervous system. So when you leave the podcast, a short rating and a short review, it just helps the algorithm get the show out in front of more women so they can hear this, they can learn this, and they can also reap the benefit of having a regulated nervous system. So thank you for taking the time to do that today. It really is the best way you can thank me if you've gotten anything out of these episodes. So appreciate you guys. Okay, so let's jump into the first non-negotiable. I'm calling them non-negotiables, but it's the pledges. So I just didn't want to put pledge in the title because it sounded, I don't know, it wasn't as interesting to me. So there are 4 non-negotiables, but these are the 4 pledges that we're doing inside of BRB that I encourage you to take on your own. So I might refer to them as non-negotiables or pledges, but it's the same thing. Pledge number 1. I will take small actions consistently. I will take small actions consistently. You guys, that's how we change everything in our life, anything in our life, right? Small, consistent actions. We're already feeling overwhelmed. We're already feeling like we've got too much going on. We're already feeling so busy. We're already feeling so exhausted. This isn't about this like massive overhaul overnight. It's about choosing a few small things to start taking action on, to start reaping the benefits, to start feeling better, and then building from there, right? When I teach about burnout recovery, when I teach about anxiety, when I teach about nervous system regulation, I'm never teaching how to overhaul your life overnight. I'm not giving quick fixes. I'm not giving like microwave solutions, because here's the thing. Regulation happens in the context of everyday life, right? It's about weaving these small intentional actions into your daily routine. Those are the actions that create lasting change over time. You don't need me to tell you, life just doesn't pause when you decide to regulate your nervous system, right? It's not like you make this decision like, hey, I'm actually going to get serious about this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn how to do this. And then life's just going to like give me the space to do that. Life keeps on lifing. I say that all the time because it's true, right? We want to regulate our nervous system. We want to recover from burnout. We want to heal our anxiety, but we still got to show up for work. We still got to manage our family. We still have to juggle all the moving pieces of our day. And that's why the practices that I teach and the practices that we use together inside of Burnout Recovery Blueprint are designed to meet you where you are. They're short, they're simple, they're sustainable. So regulating your nervous system is not about finding like all of this free time that miraculously just appears, right? Like who has that? It's about doing these small things consistently. And here's where most people get caught up. It's about doing these small things consistently, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Especially with my one-on-one clients, I have to remind them all the time, trust the process. Trust the process, because nervous system healing, regulation, none of this happens overnight, right? It's so subtle. It feels like nothing is happening. And then all of a sudden you have this moment where you're like, wow, I woke up without anxiety today. This is wild, right? I can't remember the last time that happened. Or wow, my kids were fighting and I didn't snap at them. I had the bandwidth to like sit there and respond and talk them through it and help them brainstorm their own solutions. And like, that was a really great parenting moment, but I had the bandwidth to do that, right? You like have these moments where you're like, wow, I think this is actually working. And when you're putting into practice the things that I teach, you have to think of it kind of like planting seeds, right? Every moment that you spend moving your body, every moment that you spend practicing stillness, right? Cultivating play, breath work, all the different tools. Every moment you spend doing these things that nurture your nervous system, it's like you're watering those seeds. And then over time, they really do truly grow into something vibrant and resilient. And as you progress, you guys, you're going to build the skill of self-regulation, but it takes time and it takes repetition to master, right? There's going to be moments of breakthrough like we just talked about, but true transformation happens through those small, steady actions that really compound over time into significant change. And that's the key with rewiring our brain, right? Like repetition, consistency is king. Every small action you take is another signal to your nervous system. I'm safe. This is okay. I'm healing. We don't have to be on high alert, right? We don't have to shut down. I'm growing. And over time, those signals add up. And that's how we rewire our brain and our body to move through life with more ease and balance and flexibility. So trusting the process. You don't have to do everything at once. Small, consistent actions are going to take you further than you could ever imagine. So that's a non-negotiable number one, pledge number one. I will take small actions consistently. Why don't you say it with me? I will take small actions consistently. Okay, let's move on to number two. Pledge number two is I will take it slowly. Take it slowly. I'm going to heal my nervous system. I'm going to recover from burnout and anxiety, and I'm going to do it slowly. Healing from burnout, healing a dysregulated nervous system, it's not a race, you guys. It is a journey of steady, intentional progress. And while the practices that I teach inside of BRB are straightforward, and often it can take just a few minutes to shift the state of your nervous system, it can be really tempting to dive in head first, right? And listen to 30 podcasts in a row and have a notebook full of tools you want to try and try to revamp your morning routine and revamp your evening routine and set all these boundaries in place and work on your coping mechanisms for stress and join a gym and try to do everything all at the same time. But here's the thing. Going too fast is going to work against you because nothing heals by pushing harder. I'm going to say that again. Nothing heals by pushing harder. Think about it if you broke your leg, right? You wouldn't go to the ER or your doctor and they're like, yep, your leg is broken. You're going to heal it by, training for a marathon. No, it needs rest. It needs stillness. It needs to be protected, right? It needs to be comforted. It needs to be bound together so that it can have what it needs, the support that it needs to heal. And maybe you are listening to these podcast episodes, or you're thinking about joining BRB, or you've been trying to put some of this stuff into practice and you feel this sense of urgency. Maybe there's this voice that pops up in your head that's hey, this isn't happening quick enough. Or maybe why am I not feeling better yet? Or I've been doing this for 4 days. I need to heal faster. That urgency, you guys, I don't want to say it's normal, but it's to be expected. It's to be expected because it's part of the very pattern that we're working to rewire, right? Often it's the signal from our nervous system that's still in a state of stress. That's the signal that led us into burnout to begin with, right? That's the signal that causes us to feel anxiety to begin with. And inside of the Burnout Recovery Blueprint, we work on listening to your body and building trust in your body's natural rhythm. So if you've been trying to put into practice a lot of the stuff that you learn on this show, rushing the process, piling on too many new practices at once, it actually creates more stress and it leads you ultimately feeling overwhelmed, right? So true healing happens when you slow down, when you tune in to your body, right? And let your body and your mind work together at their own pace. Because when you allow yourself to move more slowly, I think about it sometimes like a slingshot. You kind of have to pull the slingshot back. It doesn't move all that much, right? It's kind of slow to be pulled back. It's kind of held back, restricted. It feels slow, but that seemingly backward motion has to happen in order for you to be released and get the velocity and the trajectory and everything that happens when you release a slingshot, right? And it's kind of the same thing here. When you allow yourself to move more slowly, you actually give your nervous system the chance to recalibrate in a way that feels safe to your body and your nervous system, and in a way that's sustainable. And that's what we're going after, right? The things I teach you guys, these are lifestyle things. I want you to be putting this stuff into practice in 6 months and in 6 years, right? These are things that I want you to just build into your day to day, how you think, how you go about your day, what you say yes to, what you say no to, right? How you're caring for your body and your mind and your soul and your spirit. These are lifestyle things. So healing isn't about just pushing through. It's not about just going faster and doing more. It's about learning to meet yourself where you are with compassion, with patience, and with grace. So that's pledge number 2. I'll take it slowly, right? Slow and steady is the path to regulating your nervous system. You are not behind, I promise you, because here's the thing. You cannot be behind in something with no finish line. There's no finish line, right? We're never at a point in our life where we're like, yay, I'm 100% regulated all the time. My nervous system is optimally resilient or like whatever it is, right? Life keeps on lifing, guys. But here's the thing. Here is the metric. Progress is progress, no matter how small. So keep showing up with consistency, not with urgency. Okay? All right. And then the third pledge, the third thing, if you're wanting to regulate your nervous system and heal from burnout and anxiety, the third thing that you're going to want to continue to remind yourself is that you will focus. Let me put it like this. I will focus. This is the pledge. I will focus on one thing at a time. Say it with me. I will focus on one thing at a time. Y'all, multitasking. Multitasking is so bad for your nervous system. I don't know how else to say it in such like a crude way, but it's just so bad for your nervous system. Multitasking leaves you in this heightened state of arousal. Your mind is being pulled in 1,000 different directions. You're trying to keep track of all these different things. You're not giving anything 100% attention. It's exhausting. And here's the thing, for those of you that are listening and you're like, yeah, I'm actually really good at multitasking. I do it really well, right? Like I can drive and text on my phone, or I can, listen to a podcast and watch TV at the same time. I can check email and whatever. Like, no, you can't. You actually can't. You're deluding yourself. The science and the research on multitasking is really clear. And if you don't believe me, Google it and go on ChatGPT and, look it up for yourself. Multitasking is actually quite unproductive. And there are research and studies that will show you how long it takes. One, how poor your brain is at actually focusing on more than one thing at a time. But then second, how much time you lose when you have to reorient yourself to what it is that you were working on, because you're constantly like flipping between tabs, right? Whether like it's literal tabs on your computer or tabs in your brain. It's not effective, and it's actually taxing on your nervous system, and it exhausts your nervous system. And the last thing I want is for all the new tools that you're learning in this podcast or in the Burnout Recovery Blueprint to feel like just another thing on your already like never ending to-do list, right? So instead, simplify, right? BRB is designed to meet you where you are. The tools we teach on the podcast are designed to help you regulate without adding overwhelm. And here's how. Focus on one thing at a time, one step at a time, right? Trust the process. Like I was just saying, trust the frameworks. I lay things out, especially inside of BRB, in a step-by-step way, like order on purpose, to ensure that each layer of the program, each layer of healing builds on the last, right? And then the second thing is that within each week of the Burnout Recovery Blueprint, and the same is true as you listen to these podcasts, don't try to put into place all these new regulation tools. Start with trying one or two, right? I listened to an episode where Michelle talked about shaking, and then I, got her free download, the Nervous System Reset, and there was a link in there for a breathwork meditation. And like, I'm going to try those two practices this week and see what they do to my nervous system. See if I start noticing any difference, and then notice. And if they seem to help and make you feel more regulated, dude, keep doing those same things. You don't need variety in your regulation tools, right? It's not how our body works. And if you try something and you're like, I don't know, that didn't really like make much of a difference. I didn't notice any like feeling any different way after, then no harm, no foul. And you try something else the next time, right? But don't have a list of like 42 different things to try when you're feeling dysregulated, because that in and of itself is overwhelming, right? So if a practice feels helpful, keep doing it. There's no rush to move on. Give yourself permission to just stay with a single practice. Maybe it's like one breathwork practice, or one, maybe it's shaking, maybe it's body tapping, maybe it's just that walk you're going on over lunch. Maybe it's something new in your morning routine. Like anything that's helping, stay on that practice for as long as you need, because healing happens when we meet those most sensitive parts of ourselves with patience and with care, and not when we, push through and try all these different things at lightning speed. Slowing down, focusing on one thing at a time. That's how you reduce your nervous system's tendency to feel overwhelmed. And paradoxically, right, this like quote unquote slower pace, i.e. doing less, one thing at a time, that actually accelerates your long-term progress, right? And the research supports this also. It allows your body to build trust and resilience, especially when it comes to regulating your nervous system, one small step at a time. So guys, this stuff isn't necessarily easy, but it is simple, right? Your healing journey doesn't have to be complicated. One practice at a time, a moment at a time, and you're moving closer to that life that feels really calm and connected and fully aligned. So that's the third one. And then the last non-negotiable, the last pledge I have for you today is this. Every obstacle is a chance to grow. Every obstacle is a chance to grow. And guys, healing from burnout, healing your anxiety, regulating your nervous system, like it's no small task. It takes hard work. It takes a lot of courage. It's a deep, transformative journey, right? There's nothing like surface level about it. And the truth that comes along with that is that obstacles are inevitable. They're inevitable. Life's going to keep on lifing. Like how many times can I say it in this episode? So there are going to be times on your healing journey while you feel like progress is slow or minimal or not at all, or you're going backwards, right? Or life will just like seem to throw more stress your way just as you start to feel steady or start to feel better or start to feel like you're making progress. And then all of a sudden it's like the kids are out of school because of weather or sickness or something happens at work or, someone in your family gets ill or whatever it is. And you're like, man, I was just starting to feel better. You're going to hit moments, right, where balance feels really out of reach or like some unexpected event comes through and knocks you off course. But here's the good news, you guys. Pledge number 4, every obstacle is an opportunity for growth. But here's the catch. You have a responsibility to play in that growth, right? If you're going to take an obstacle and turn it into an opportunity for growth, there's accountability there. You have to actually make a decision to do that. Otherwise, your obstacles are going to turn you into, a victim or someone with a bunch of excuses or someone who just keeps doing what they've been continuing to do. And that's not you. I know that's not you because you're listening to this podcast. And when we talk about the research, like stress researchers have actually uncovered 2 different ways that we respond to unexpected stuff like this that interrupts our plans, right? Sick kids or school closures or, travel plans or whatever it is. There's 2 ways we can respond to unexpected stress. The first way is that we view those obstacles, those interruptions in our plans as threats. And when we view obstacles as threats, what happens? Oh, it activates our sympathetic nervous system, right? It activates fight or flight, and it triggers more anger, more frustration, more fear because it feels like something has disrupted our plan, and that is a threat, right? That's not where we want to be. We want to be in camp number 2. We want to respond to unexpected stress as challenges. And just that mindset switch, that mindset shift, you guys, helps us to see the hurdles that we come across as opportunities to grow stronger, and grow more resilient. And it's not surprising, right, that the people who approach these unexpected stressors as challenges instead of threats, they bounce back faster, right? They don't feel as overwhelmed. They're able to handle what comes their way. So that's, I guess, the big picture is expect obstacles and embrace them, right? Don't just like expect them and be in fear of when they're going to come and try to just plan your way out of them. Expect them and embrace them. Obstacles are going to come up. And when they do, I'm going to remind myself, hey, I knew this was going to happen. I knew my life is like really full and I'm managing a lot of things and little people and winter illnesses. And like, I knew that this was part of the job, part of the process. And just acknowledging that, like that in and of itself can instantly reduce the emotional weight of that interruption. And then when those challenges show up, they're not signs of failure. They're opportunities. They happen. And each obstacle that we encounter really gives us the chance to kind of flex all of those nervous system regulation muscles we've been working so hard to strengthen, right? How can I stay regulated? How can I respond instead of react? How can I make sure that I'm nourishing and taking care of my body so that my window of tolerance and my capacity to handle life has expanded, and ultimately strengthening our ability to handle stress over time? And I think a lot of what happens here too is that when we're on this healing journey, we can like start comparing ourselves to others. But when we compare ourselves to ourselves or a prior version of ourselves, right? When I compare Michelle now in 2025 to Michelle back in 2020 or whatever, 1995, like right now, my baseline might feel different. But any improvement in that baseline from, 5 years ago me is a big win. From 2 weeks ago me is a big win, right? And it deserves to be celebrated. All right, my friends. So those are the 4 non-negotiables for nervous system regulation that I have for you today. If you want to heal anxiety, if you want to heal burnout, you're going to take these pledges with me. Pledge number 1, I will take small actions consistently. Pledge number 2, I will take it slowly. Pledge number 3, I will focus on one thing at a time. And pledge number 4, every obstacle is a chance to grow. Yes and amen. All right. I hope you guys got something out of that. I hope there were some invitations for some mindset shifts there and just some good reminders, right? As we start the year, I know all of us want more regulated nervous systems. Like every human being on the planet wants that. And these are 4 pledges that will help us get there in a sustainable way. All right. Thanks for being with me. I really cherish our time together. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.